Hey YouTube, so before we check out the cars on the upper level, I just want to give you guys a sort of a glimpse of just how vast this museum is. I mean, just look at all these cars. This is actually a really beautiful shot here, so I just kind of wanted to take this moment to just get the shot from this location here of all the cars. This is just absolutely a really impressive setup here. So anyway, let's go get some more cars. So before we begin, we'll just do a quick panel, without me in the way there, of all of the cars here. Again, this is such an impressive museum, but we'll start right over here. So let's get to it, folks. So first up here is a 2013 Audi R8, looking very tough. I just love that two-tone there. You kind of have that one, looks like a stainless steel piece there, just kind of right by the door there. Looks very nice. The back of the Audi R8 there, very tough looking. Next we have some bikes by Moto Guzzi, which I believe is an Italian biking company. Moto Guzzi bikes here. That 1959 Heinkel Cabine T153S. Okay, what in the name of all that is holy is this thing? What the hell? This is a 1964 FMR KR200. Look at this. It has a Messerschmitt badge on it. I can't get enough of this car. Look at this thing. Now this is something you gotta rock in Sea Isle. Oh, look at this thing. Next is a 1964 FMR KR201. So this is with the top down apparently, or no top on it. What a cool looking ride this is. We have a 1964 scooter car, MK1. We're back to some American toughness here with a 1982 Harley Davidson FXE Fat Bob. Man, that's serious. And then very interestingly painted spec'd out Toyota Land Cruiser. All blued out. I'm just gonna pan here so you guys can see an overview of this section of cars over here that we're gonna get next. 1965 Vespa. A little scooter there. And that is the badge of a 1910 Nagant Type 7000J. And then you just see the extravagance in this automobile, likely because people could not afford automobiles back then. These were just for the rich, I believe. And even though this is a long time ago, you can just see the elegance here. I mean, yeah, it's an old car, hard to keep up with, but I mean, you can just tell that back then. Let's get the seat over here. These plush seats here and all of this here. Definitely this is something that is, from back then, very opulent. Then from utter opulence, we go to a 1987 Honda ZB50. Now, what a cool way to present a car. Look at this. 1957 VVR 170. What in the heck is this? So this is actually a teaching model. That's what this is. Next we have a 1939 Delage D8 120D Le Terrain. What a slick design. Sleek and elegant. Look at the back of this. And then look at the interior. Look at the seating. And then look at the gauges there. And very impressive for 1939. Boy, I have to say, that definitely looks very far ahead of its time there. Ooh, look at those headlights there. This is a 1937 Panhard X77 Dynamic. And it certainly is dynamic. And then we have a 1939 LaSalle convertible sedan model 50. Wow. How beautiful and imposing is this? And next is a 1929 Voisin C14 Charmant. I'm desperately trying to correctly pronounce what I'm anticipating are French names. And it is very important to get the hood ornament and the badge of your 1929 Voisin, sorry. Not sure if even that's correct. Beautiful car nonetheless. Got the 1916 NSU 500 cc bike there. Then we have a 1934 Citroen 7A. Very nice neutral colors, this car here. Beautiful hood ornament. Interesting badge. Austin Swallow. Alright, well, I won't say anymore. Anyway, this is the 1931 Austin 7SS. Ooh, look how compact this thing looks. Wow. Next, we have a 1925 Hanomag 210 Commisbrot. What in the heck? You can't even tell which is the front, which is the back. It's still a beautiful car though. I mean, I still pimp it and see all. So let me correct myself. Yes, you can tell which is the front and the back, obviously. I mean, if you look at it closely, you see the steering wheel, then the back over here, you can kind of more likely tell that this is the... Actually, I can't tell if that's the hood or if that's the engine, if it's a front or mid-engine car. But in any case, this is very, very interesting looking vehicle. And yeah, from there you can definitely tell that that is the front. And there is the badge of your Hanomag. I'll take one last shot of this car from higher up. Look at that. Have to take a quick bathroom break, but before I do, I'm just going to grab some of these cool looking cars that are, you know, miniature style, obviously, or miniature model. You got these down here. Yeah, this is what I really love about museums like this, where you really like just pay attention to the details. It's not just the cars. You have all these other little, you know, curios, and then this, you know, miniature cars, and just really emphasizes the passion that those, you know, who run the museum have for cars, and those that, you know, support the museum and promote the museum. I'm going to pan a little bit out here, go a little more overview, but yeah, this is really impressive. I have to say this probably is the most impressive museum that I have been to so far, and I've seen a lot of good museums, a lot of good places that showcase cars, but I think this one could possibly be the best one that I've been to. Okay, time to answer Mother Nature. All right, starting back up again. We got three strong bikes here. Got a 1971 Suzuki, a 1959 Honda, and a 1989 BMW. So very strong representation of bikes there. Okay, so very excited for what we're about to see next. So this first car here is a 1949 Alfa Romeo 2500 Super Sport. And wow, look at the shape of this car. And here is the back of that Alfa Romeo. And here you have an Isabella Coupe here. And it looks like a Studebaker. It's kind of shaped very much like a Studebaker. This is a 1957 Borgward Isabella Coupe. And what a beautiful front grille. What a beautiful, beautiful looking car this is. So this absolutely stunning looking vehicle is a 1954 Bugatti Brown. Yes, very odd shaped, but definitely something very, very avant-garde. English pronunciation of avant-garde. Let's keep going here. But this is a very, very interesting and weird shape, I'll say. Look at the head or taillights on this. And then we have another very interestingly shaped car. Again, very avant-garde. And this one here is a 1946 JPW prototype. Next is a 1966 Porsche 912. Whew. That is definitely one of the cleanest Porsches I've ever seen. Look at the wheels and look at that color. Oh my goodness. Right next to the Porsche, we got a Citroen. 1969 Citroen DS21. Citroen DS21, folks. Okay, well, this is very interesting. We have almost like a rainbow-inspired Mustang. So very interesting representation of the popular American muscle car. And this here is a 1966 Ford Mustang hardtop. 1966. Now that is one mean grill on this 1970 Alfa Romeo Montreal. What a car, folks. Look at that color and look at the design work. Ooh, and right back to some nostalgia for this Gen Xer here. 1980 Porsche 928S. Any of you Gen Xers maybe see the movie called The Hidden? It's about a couple aliens that were fighting each other, and they went to planet Earth to continue their fight. Anyway, one of the aliens drove this. It was a stolen 928 S4. Absolutely beautiful car in the 80s. Next, you have a 1974 BMW 3.0 CSI. Look at this, folks. 1974 BMW. Now, this is an interesting looking car here. This here is a 1993 Lancia Hyena concept car. Look at those headlights. Boy, what an interesting looking car this is. 1988 Ital Design Aztec. Look at this. Actually, wait till you see this car. So definitely some very, very interesting designs came out of the 80s. And I remember this kind of growing up too, at least the designs in general, not this particular car. This is something really... Maybe I do remember this, I don't know. So I'll do a quick pan here. First car up, we have a 2022 Toyota CHR plug-in hybrid. It looks like we got a partial chassis, 1991 Audi Quattro concept car. And then, I don't know what this is. This is Facel Vega Facel 2 from 1961 to 64. So very, very interesting. All made of wood. All right, so we just covered this whole section of cars here. And then we're gonna go cover these 3 in here, and then we got a bunch of cars in this section over here. So the first car in this section here, darn hose is in the way there. 1963 Alpine M63. Next up we have a 1957 Jaguar D-Type. Then we have a 1953 Porsche 550 Spyder. Here we have a 1992 Honda NR750. Next we have a beautiful Porsche, a 1965 Porsche 911 2-cup with the bike over here too. And I tell you what, man, you know what? These Porsches are really starting to grow on me. I never liked Porsches before because I was just more into the exoticness of the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and McLarens. But I tell you what, Porsches are really starting to grow on me, especially the older ones. And then towards the wall, we have a 1995 Peugeot 405 M16. And then right over here, we have a 1971 Ford Capri Group 2. So definitely another car I just don't think I've ever seen before out of the American market. So that right there is a 2004 Porsche 996 GT3 RSR. And look how aggressive that Porsche looks. That is absolutely menacing. Next, We have a 63, 64 Austin Mini Cooper S prototype. Okay, we go right into a tuner with a 2015 Mark Car Ford Focus. Looks like from Austria. Look at the size of that spoiler. You can see the carbon fiber elements on it too. Then we have a 2010 Chevy Cruze WTCC. And we finish off this section right here. Okay, we'll grab this section over here, and the first car is a 2008 Renault F1 R28. Look at this thing, wow. Next is a 1927 Darmont DS Special. The yellow one is a 1925 FN 1300S Sport. I'll see if I can get a little closer look at her. There you go. And then we have a 1926 Bugatti Type 35A. Whew, beautiful car. And look at the beautiful combination of luxury and sport in this Bugatti. And look at that dash, very, very sporty and ahead of its time. Next we have a 1929 Omega 6 racing car. Look at this thing. Beautiful looking. And then the car closer to the wall is a 1907 Renault Grand Prix. And there's a closer look at the 1907 Renault Grand Prix. Next we have a 1978 Corvette C3 pace car. And then right next to that we have a 1965 Ford Mustang, un homme et une femme, a man and a woman. And here are the two American classics right next to each other. You got the Corvette and you got the Mustang right next to each other. First car here is a 1991 Mazda 787B. And I'm just going to kind of walk along here. Next is a 1994 Toyota 94 CV. I'll pan back this way. And then the last car is a TOJ SC204 from 1976. Look at that beautiful gold color on this. Beautiful. Vroom. Roar. So yeah, this is definitely, you know, some serious automotive passion here. When you start to emanate just car noises. So look at this thing. Oh my goodness. Very beautifully displayed here. This area here is dedicated to Michel Vaillant. I'm probably butchering the hell out of the name. And I wish I could spend more time here. You know, this is just kind of for my YouTube channel. So I'm kind of focusing more on the cars. But again, this museum is really amazing. It looks like you have some memorabilia over here. Michel Vaillant. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. There are some people looking at the other cars behind me, so I want to focus on this side here. So first bike, we have a 1930 FN M67, followed by a 71 BSA, and then a 58 Norton Model 88, and this one coming up here in the middle, 61 BSA, and then we have a 84 Huvo Casal. And then we have a 75 Bultaco Sherpa. And the last bike here is a 2000 Triumph Daytona. I'll go ahead and pan and get all the bikes over here for any you bike nuts there. Okay, I'm going to now grab the cars to our right. The first one is a Lancia, obviously. You have a Lancia, 1969 Lancia 1600 HF. Next car is a 1998 Volkswagen Fun Cup. Definitely one of the more aggressive looking Beetles I've seen. Next is a 1988 Moto Guzzi 1100 Sport. Another representation of the Italian bike maker. Check out this Peugeot van here. 1995 Peugeot 806 Pro car. Look at this, folks. Next we have a 1984 Honda VF 1000R. And the first car in this section here is a 2002 Maserati 3200 GTA. Nice looking car, nice looking color. Right next to the Maserati is an Aston Martin, which I'm guessing also is around the 2000s, early 2000s, I'm guessing. Almost has Porsche 928 vibes, I don't know why. Next is a 1990 Honda NSX. I've known this car as an Acura NSX, but they have it labeled here as a Honda NSX. So I'm not sure if there's any significance to that or not. But this was the car of the 90s. One of the cars of the 90s. Next car is a 1993 BMW 850 CSI. Then we have a 1988 Mazda MX-5 Miata, VIN 00026. Then these cars are more nostalgic for me because they're into the 80s now. In 1980, Lancia Beta Monte Carlo Series 2. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, this is kind of more my style right here. And look at this 1975 Volkswagen Golf 1. Oh, beautiful. Ooh, check out this 1975 AMC Pacer. What an interestingly shaped car. I have seen this before at some other car events, but still, I just can't get over how interesting this car looks. Look at this. 1976 Porsche 911 SC police car. Imagine getting pulled over by something like this. How would you react? Next we have a 1978 Renault 16TX. Love that color. Check out this 1975 Rover 2200 TC, folks. Look at that Rover badge. Look at that grille. Now look at the color on that 1972 Jaguar XJ12. That is absolutely breathtaking. And what a way to designate this car as a V12. Beautiful. Next we have a 1971 Matra 530LX. Look at the color on this. Just pure European styling here, folks. Okay, I am now getting memories of Carlisle. This is a 1972 Citroen SIM. I don't know if I saw one of these specifically at Carlisle or not, but I know they had a big Citroen section at the Import Nationals, or at the Import Show. But this, I love the shape of this car. Wow. Check out this 1971 Auto Bianchi A111. We saw an Auto Bianchi in Monaco, but it was very different. I think it was a hatchback or something, or hatchback style. Look at that. Oh, look at those lights, square lights. You know, I just love the shapes of some of these Euro cars. This is a 1972 NSU RO80. Yeah, Rolls-Royce always makes a statement with their cars. 1966 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. Next, we have a 64 Maserati Mistral 3500 GTI. Wow, what a beautiful and elegant shape. Cars of the 60s and 70s definitely made their statements. So this bike over here is another Moto Guzzi Galetto 192 by the Italian bike maker. Wow. Again, look at the vintage styling on this. 1965 Saab 96. Boy, look at that. This is pure stop styling. Beautiful. Look at this 1965 BMW 1600 Ti. Look how elegant this car looks. Look at that beautiful front grille. So simplistic yet so beautiful. I mean, because a lot of the Beamers you see now are kind of sportier looking. And this kind of was a trend, I think, that kind of occurred around early to mid 2000s. The cars got a lot sportier, the sedans that is. But this still looks like just purely luxurious. Next, we got a 1959 Modem 48C. We'll walk around here. I'll pan back out too so I can get both the cars sandwiching the moto. Wow. Whew. Look at the styling on this. 1965 Audi Union 1000. An Audi. Okay, wow. Yeah, check it out. This is the interior of a 1965 Amphicar 770. See if I can walk around her a little bit. What a very interestingly shaped car. I think we saw these at the DC Auto Show and maybe at Burke too. I can't recall 100%. But there's the Amphicar. Look at that. Next, we have a 1964 Mercedes 230 SL. And then sandwiched between the Amphicar and the Mercedes, we have a 1961 Solex 2200 bike. We got some Czech representation here, a 1965 CZ45 455 Deluxe. Right next to the Czech bike, we got a Japanese bike here. Keep it over here. A 1966 Suzuki T20. You know, folks, I was wondering the whole time, how could there be no like C1 or C2 Vets here? So we have ourselves a C2 Vet, 65 Corvette C2 L78 convertible here. You walk around her a little bit. Beautiful in red. Yeah, Corvettes have to be red. And then next to the Corvette, we have a DAF, a 1967 DAF 33. Look at this. Never seen anything like this before. And then next to the DAF, we have a 72 Peugeot GT10C bike, or scooter rather. Wow, what a beautiful front on this 1969 Opel GT. And it very much has like C3 Corvette vibes by the shape. And then next, we have a 1969 Lotus Elan S4. Then in between the Lotus and the Opel, we have a 1979 Honda CX500A bike. And then we have a 1972 Jaguar E-Type V12. And look how elongated the front is. So very, very sporty British car here. Look at that, you have the old gas tank there. Looks like some 70s memorabilia here. And then you have yourselves a 1974 Honda CB 200K0 bike. Guys, we have ourselves our very first Lamborghini at this event. This here is a 1971 Lamborghini Espada. Look at the shape of this car. That is something else. Boy, Ferruccio Lamborghini must have really got pissed off by Enzo Ferrari, because boy, it lit a fire under his ass. There's the Espada badge, and it looks like it's kind of giving the middle finger to Enzo Ferrari. I'm sorry, I just can't say enough. I mean, Enzo Ferrari definitely was a pioneer, but you know, with his attitude and cockiness, he was pretty much responsible for Lamborghini making cars like these. First, we have a 1977 Suzuki GS750, and to my left of that, we have a 1972 Suzuki RV125. So here we have a 1998 Alfa Romeo Spider 2.0 Twin Spark. Next, we have a 1989 Kawasaki GPX 600R Ninja. Then we have a quite an aggressive looking Renault here. 1982 Renault 5 Turbo 2. Look at the side vents on this, and then the vents on the hood. So this is a very aggressive looking body style on this Renault. Then we have a 1998 VW Scirocco GT. Has more of a 70s design to it, actually. Next, we have a Porsche 924 Carrera GT. Then we have a 1981 Talbot Matra Morena. And I believe this is the last car that we are going to film at this event. I believe we've got all the cars now. I'm just going to go take a quick look and check. So it wasn't the last bike we got, that's for sure. This is the 1939 Norton International M40. So I am now going to just do a general pan from this spot over here of all the cars, or as many as I can get at least. And we've now gotten, looks like we appear to have gotten all the cars on the upper level now. So we've done very well, folks. Very, very well. Hey everyone, hope you are having a good time and you are enjoying the footage to this point. So it looks like we have got pretty much every single car at this museum. So very, very pleased and satisfied about that. I mean, there were a lot of cars to cover. And before we wrap things up, actually, I do want to do a general walk around of this whole museum and capture all that, because because previously I was just focusing on the cars themselves, and I want to give like the proper orientation. So I want to I'll just go ahead and probably do like a walk around while filming and panning around the museum itself, just to give a better perspective on the size and scope of the museum. So let's get to it. All right, we're going to start here and just walk down this section over here. And it's not only the cars, but there's just a lot of memorabilia, a lot of information, just so much history, just so much to see here. And I know that this video is probably not going to do the museum justice in terms of capturing all that. My intent was solely to just capture the cars. That's kind of what I typically do. But, those of you that think of coming here, there's just so much to see, and there's like so much information too. So again, it's not just, see, look, you have the whole wall over there that has so much information. So again, it's not just seeing some really amazing and rare cars. And this is coming from a YouTuber that's been at it for over 2 years, going to various car events. It's not about just seeing some cars that at least I've never seen before in my life, but it's just also about just the attention to detail and all of the information that this museum offers. Okay, they're doing some work over here, so I'm just gonna go just do a quick pan over here. Stop here. All right, so now we're going to get this section over here. Again, just a general walk around, just so I can give you guys a better perspective, not only of the museum, but of this specific level. And I would love to come here, not even for filming, but just to appreciate the museum and all of the cool and interesting knowledge that I didn't get to focus on this time around, because because of focusing more on the filming of the cars. But to those of you, that see this video who work for the museum, hopefully I'm at least doing it some justice. And again, it's really hard to do that just watching it in a YouTube video. I mean, this is one of the things where you just have to come to the museum to really appreciate it. again, it's not only the, and I'll add one more thing, it's not only the cars and even also the knowledge that's offered in the various memorabilia and, you know, wall decor, but just the way it's set up and just the aesthetics of the museum itself, which I'm going to talk about a little more. So this is where we ended off here, the other side. So I'm going to get these cars over here, and then that's where they're working. So that's where we ended off, just in the last shot there. So this pretty much is the whole upper level right here. Yep, that's where they're working. So that's where we stopped, right over here. And we'll stop right here. Then you have this little corridor over here that I didn't get earlier. I'm just going to do a general pan. You have a lot of just miniature cars here. Again, it's just perfect for someone that's just passionate about cars. Now, I owned a lot of these little mini cars when I was younger, like Matchbox and Hot Wheels and stuff. So, you know, I see these and I get all nostalgic. It's just, yeah, I mean, if you just have a craving of everything cars, then you absolutely have to come here. And I'll just keep walking through here. And here's the, I think, Michel Vaillant tribute room here. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Hey everyone, so before we wrap things up, we're going to now just get a general overview of the downstairs. I'm just going to kind of walk and pan around and try to capture the best I can in order to give you guys kind of a better frame of reference, you know, at least of the downstairs of the museum. So let's get to it. So we'll do a quick pan of this area, and I'm going to start walking along this section here. And you can kind of see some of the cars up on the, you know, the elevated cars we got earlier. This here is the German tuner section that we're passing by. Yep, so this here is a German tuner section. Man, that freaking Gullwing car is so sick, isn't it? And then now we're entering the Ferrari section. This is the Ferrari section. You can see some of the cars on the wall too as well. And you can see the second level that we got earlier. There's a F50 and the Enzo. Yep, so here's the Ferrari section. And we're ending it up with this Testarossa. And I'm going to stop the shot right here so we can continue. Some motorcycles on this side over here. And you have some really old vintage cars over here. And I believe this is kind of mostly Minerva, I believe. And we're going to head right into this room over here that we went to earlier. Again, just doing a general overview. And I guess this is kind of your royalty room. I mean, this is like where you have like just cars that were just meant for the upper echelon of society, at least economically speaking. All right, we'll continue our walk over here. So we got these over here, the Minerva's over there, that bike. Just gonna keep walking around. I'm just gonna keep the camera straight for now. So we'll just walk this way for now. We'll stop right here. So keep walking over here. I'm just going to go this way. Just kind of walk over here. Stop at the Cadillac. And in this room you have a whole entire section of knowledge. Yeah, this place is absolutely mind-blowing. And no matter what I do, if I get up and close and personal with the cars, which what I try to do, or do a more overview, it just does not do this place justice. And you guys that love cars absolutely have to come here, because there's just so much to see. So much to see here. Not to mention so many beautiful cars. We're going to keep walking here. Little game section over there. So now I'm just going to kind of walk and focus on this side over here. So this section here, you kind of have more of your historical cars. And it's cool to see just how luxurious and opulent these cars were. Because again, I think back when cars really first came out, they really were only meant for people who can afford them. So I think the cars definitely were designed with more opulence in mind. So I'm going to keep walking here. You got these really old, like cars or coaches or what have you. And then I'm going to go and then get this section over here, then that should wrap it up. Then you have all these cars over here, so I'll just do a quick walk over here. And we'll stop it right over here. Hey everyone, so that is going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the footage that I was able to get. I just want to say that this probably is the most amazing museum that I have been to. I mean, the scope is amazing. It's so vast. There's so many cool and amazing cars here. It's even in an amazing building. This looks like a really old style building that we're in. And that just contributes to the vastness of this whole museum. And, actually it's cool being on the second level, because then, you can just see like all the cars below, and it's just mind boggling. So just the last thing I want to say that I've probably said multiple times, this video just does not do the museum justice. I mean, I did the best I could to get the cars, to get the footage, but, you really have to come here to really appreciate it. Because, again, I'm mostly focused on the cars. It's a little too hard to really capture all of the history and meaning and knowledge. That's something you definitely have to come here for. So if you guys at all are in Belgium, or those of you that live in Belgium, you have no excuse. You got to come here. If you live in Belgium or live, even in a neighboring country and you love cars, then you absolutely have to come to this museum. Autoworld Brussels, folks. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Mr. Guinea. I provide car content. I cover classics. I cover customs. I cover exotics. I mostly focus on local events. I'm from the States, so local events to like New Jersey. But, I do travel the world when I can and try to capture footage of really, high-level car events. So anyway, if you guys like the content, go ahead, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, YouTube? So I am now outside the Autoworld building. In Brussels, Belgium, of course. And my reason for this clip is I want to take the time to thank the team at Autoworld. I was actually speaking to a real nice gentleman, and he had mentioned that, it's really a group of people that, contribute to Autoworld and make it what it is. So I want to take the time to thank the entire team, including Ahmed, who had a lengthy conversation with, real cool guy, and gave me a lot of insight. So I want to thank Ahmed and the entire Autoworld Brussels team for making this museum what it is. An absolutely amazing spectacle of automotive fascination. And again, any of you guys that love cars, whether you live in Belgium, live near Belgium, or don't, and have an excuse to come to Europe and want to come to Europe or what have you, you guys absolutely have to check out this museum. It is absolutely amazing. All right, Mr. Guinea signing off. See you soon. Take care.